Good morning, my fellow weirdos and wild ones. How are you on this bright early morning, late evening, middle of the night, whatever it be, wherever you be? It is lovely to be with you again, and we are going to do a definitely abysmal perspective this morning. Which is actually round 2, because I actually recorded this before and kind of lost the audio. I don't know how that happened, but video with me talking and no audio doesn't do any of us any good. So here we be, round 2, and it's going to seem like round 2 for you too, potentially, because we are going to talk about grounding and centering. I know, I just went on a whole thing about no, center and ground, center then ground, do not ground and then center. And today I'm going to talk about when you do ground and then center, but I'm also going to mess with that. What do we mean by grounding? Oh yes, thus this is an abysmal perspective, coming at you live from the unceded ancestral and traditional territory of the Kakite Nation of the Coast Salish peoples. And I am Vi, the Abysmal Witch, happy to take you down into the insanity that is my brain world. Okay, so in episode, I think 7, I talked a lot about centering and grounding, getting that flip of the switch to we start at the core of ourselves and then we move out, then we root down, we reach up, we do that grounding through the rooting, and talking about grounding and how it is so often used as a way of sadly, way too often used to rid the body of excess energy, but also just to rid the body of energy rather than learning to process energy within our own bodies. So, that's its own problem. But there's that aspect of it. And really, if you're going to go that way, use it to rebalance yourself. Is an ideal way to approach that. But that is not the grounding of which I wish to speak today. Instead, I want to talk of a different-ish, related, but not, yes, mostly, sort of, type of grounding. And then why we would do this grounding and then centering. And the reality is sometimes it is very hard to find our center. We are all over the place, scattered and tugged at from all of these different things in our lives that are pulling our attention, our energy, our psyche, that are going and demanding our attention and demanding that we be in the world in particular ways, which leads to a sense of being at someone else's or some other group's way of being rather than our own authentic self. And that's very common. It's so much easier in a lot of ways to follow the herd. Actually, I do think I recorded yesterday a witch's perspective on this that came into this. I think, yes, a little bit touched into that whole mob mentality stuff. Anyway, neither here nor there for this moment. In this moment, we are talking about grounding and then centering. So that finding of center, of selfness, of that I am the most me that I could possibly be me, is going to pause for a second as I try to determine road closed, local traffic only. Oh dear, that's disturbing. We'll be back. And we're back. Had to take a little detour in the video because I had to take a little detour in real life, as the direction I really wanted to go was road closed. Thou shalt not pass. So I had to figure out a different way around. Okay, we were talking about grounding and centering, and finding when it is difficult, right, to find our center selves. And it can be a host of reasons. It could be that we're still looking to figure out who we actually are, and that sense of who we are, and therefore our center, can be difficult to find. And probably something I should talk about a little more explicitly in a different episode. Today, though, I want to talk about one way into supporting that finding of the center, or what to do in starting a practice when that center is not revealing itself or not lending itself. And this can come let me tell you, it can come when you've done a lot of work and you have a really strong sense of self and your core essence and the clarity of your own soul and all of the rest of that. You can still struggle sometimes with being able to set yourself into your own center. And I find that typically starts by not being actually grounded into our body and into our physical reality. So shockingly enough, to do magic well, you need to be connected. And I mean long-term, sustainable, healthy magic. You need to be grounded into your own body. So this is a little different than the normal grounding we talk about, ground to the earth and let off all of your energy. Sorry, you can tell I got a pet peeve of that one. Because I've known people who are like, oh my God, I feel some energy. Must ground it, must ground it, must ground it. It's like, no, you've just got some extra buzz going on, baby. You just gotta process it through. You gotta let that stuff flow. So yes, pet peeve. But there are times, a lot of times, we need to actually get a lot more physical. Especially, okay, from the Wiccan witch side of things, we are very much, physicality is in our magic making. Have you not done a circle dance? Have you not gotten up and done the things like using of gestures and movement and motion and raising energy through the physicality of our bodies? A high majority of the Eightfold Path of Wicca, it was called, when I was a wee Wiccan. It talked about a number of ways to get into an altered state of consciousness, essentially. And those ways, the high majority, it all involves the body, because we are intrinsically tied to the body. Our magic is about being embodied. So we start with grounding in the way that I, myself, Avad, the Abysmal Witch, prefer to talk about the essence of grounding. What do I mean by this? So much of what I am talking about, I, not exclusively, but largely, influenced and trained from Irene Lyon, Lyon. She's got irenelyon.com. Smart Body, Smart Mind is the program that she's been running for a lot of years that comes down to how to heal your nervous system. We've all got those lovely traumas kicking around inside of us, and those traumas get expressed through our interactions into the world via the nervous system. How do we heal our nervous system? Well, it's about getting back in touch with, in very conscious and aware and attentive ways and gentle ways with what is going on inside of us, what's going on with our physiology, if you will. So in that, there's a series of introductory exercises that I call Go Be, which sums up essentially what you're going to do. You're going to go be, just be. But it's GOBI as an acronym for grounding, orienting, breath, and impulse. Today we are talking about grounding, obviously, because grounding then centering, except we center then ground. We don't ground then center unless we need to ground in order to center. So really we ground, center, and then root and reach. So perhaps I could take back my never ground and center, instead go ground and center, but do it my way. Don't do it the way that is frequently the way that is viewed. Grounding is often, I guess you could talk about it, I think earthing is a phrase that's used that could be considered similar-ish. Earthing, if I'm remembering correctly, is walking. It's like going outside, taking off your shoes and walking on the ground. It is connecting to Terra in that very fundamental physical way of body to body, our body to the planet's body. With grounding, we're just take it in. Grounding the way I mean it. Grounding is about feeling into our body, but particularly feeling our body's connection to the planet, to Terra. The way to do this, the easiest way to do this, come join me in this. Let's take a little moment, because you know what? It's on not quite 7 in the morning for me. I've been up since 4:30 because that's my new world. I should talk about that at some point. But that's a different day, and it'll probably be a witch's perspective. So, wherever you are, whatever you may be, you are in connection with the ground. Unless you're an astronaut up in the sky above the planet and you don't have gravity pulling on you. But I'm not thinking that that's the extreme majority of people who would listen to this. If there's an astronaut who is in space, whoever listens to this, gobsmacked me. Be present. It's about being present. So let's just take a moment again. Let yourself become aware of you and your relationship to the planet through gravity. So feel how your body, if you're sitting, feel how your butt is sitting in the chair that you are on. Does the chair conform to you? Is it softer material and so it's kind of wrapping around your butt? Or is it a hard chair and your butt is conforming to the chair, but you can still feel that that chair is underneath of you. It is supporting you. If you're standing or leaning on something, if you're standing, your feet is your connection down into the ground. Your feet are underneath of you and you are held, supported by the planet. Everywhere we are, sitting, standing, lying down, there is ultimately Terra underneath of us, and we are connected there. And that's where we start to slip back into that heady esoteric. So pull back and feel your physical connection. Feel the skin. I'm going to focus now on just sitting because that's the state I'm in. So take this and translate it to lying down or standing as works for you in your moment. We're going to talk about sitting. So feeling your skin, feeling how your skin is in contact with perhaps material if you're wearing clothes, or not if you're not, but straight to the chair that you're sitting on. Can you feel the weight of your body? Just, you have solid presence, physical presence. Get into that sensation. What does it feel like? Do you feel heavier on one side than the other? Does it feel like you're maybe leaning a bit? Do you feel like your weight is a little forward on your pelvis? Maybe a little back? Maybe it all feels centered. Can you feel the shape of the chair? The material of the chair, can you feel that? Can you feel its solidness? Maybe its texture, its firmness. Feel how your body and the firmness of the chair interact. And if you sigh or yawn as you do this, just know that that is a very natural response and is just a little bit of tension in your nervous system saying, I can let go now. So that is just a little taste of what I mean by grounding. Grounding is embracing our embodiment and our embodiment on Terra, how we are ultimately and intrinsically connected to our planet through gravity, that we are here and now. So mindfulness and that attention to the now is also potentially very much what we're talking about. The lines between these things, sometimes mindfulness and nervous system work are quite at a distance from each other, and sometimes they are close. It's something that comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. With that grounding, hopefully you were at least able to engage a little bit with me. And the more trauma that we've had, and or the more drugs that we do, and or the just more potentially distant we are from our body by nature, the harder this can be. We're just not used to being here and now in our own physicalness and feeling our physicalness in relation to our environment. Feeling that, getting that sensation, from there, finding our center becomes easier, because doing this form of grounding brings us into our body. It centers our awareness back into our physical self, and our physical self and our etheric self, or whichever level of number of non-physical bodies that you want to attach to yourself. I'm just going to go with etheric. Thank you very much. By coming into that place in our body, we encourage, as we always do, magic encourages one way to the other, between the seen and the unseen, or the real and unreal, or whatever you want to call it. By doing that in the physical, we are encouraging our subtle bodies to align. And by aligning into our actual physical self in this here and now, where we are in our physical experience, it becomes that much easier to go, oh yeah, this is where my center is. It removes all of that push and pull and pressure of the outside forces and the inside forces that have gotten very, what's the word I'm looking for? Opinionated on what we are, what we do. And it thus allows us to come at what is important from a place of, this is who I am, and where I am, and who I want to be is something that I can easily choose, because I am grounded into my own being. So in essence, all of this very long commentary takes us to the place of grounding is not about grounding to the earth. It's about grounding into our own somatic self and letting our somatic self be part of the ground, which is Terra. All right. With that, I must say a very fond and delightful adieu to you all. Blessings of the weird and wild to you. Stay curious. Blessed be.